See matchup on to get this one started. And here this will be a touchback, and it comes out. They'll go with their leading rusher. Here's 2nd and 7 now from the 28. Trying to turn the corner, but he's going to be stopped right near the line of scrimmage. No gain on the. Throwing is Rodgers on 3rd down. He's going to look deep down the field. And that'll be in.
That certainly looked like something that they discussed all week in practice, getting ready for this one. Take the big shot right out of the gate. At worst, you'll open up the defense a little bit, loosen them up, have them back on their heels.
Let's go.
They've got good starting field position as they come up here 1st and 10. This is Alvin Kamara, who made the Pro Bowl in each of his first 2 NFL seasons. So a nice job to break the 1 tackle, but not much daylight after that as he's brought down.
Mike's 42.
On 2nd down, Kamara. And he's got some space at the 2. A big play there out of Kamara. 56 yards on the ground. After the big play, a chance to finish now on 1st and goal. They'll run it with Kamara. Diving for the end zone, and the ball's knocked out. And the Packers pick it up.
Partner, you know how often we hear about the red zone, right? From the 20-yard line going in, that scoring zone, getting points on the board. A lot of teams call from the 10.
Oh, and he's not going to make it out of the end zone. The push too strong, and that'll be a safety. And, Charles, at some point, you can't keep worrying about big play. Can this be perfect? You just have to get the ball out of the end zone.
And in the offensive huddle, that was discussed when they called the play. Just get out of the end zone. But you know what's interesting? A lot of the times in the defensive huddle, they actually call a set and then say at the end of it, get a safety. So it's preached, it's coached, it's thought about.
95-56.
On 1st down, Breeze. Out of the backfield, that's complete to Kamara. And that is incomplete. He couldn't hold on through the contact. Brings up 2nd down. So now 2nd and 10 after the incompletion on 1st down. Here's Breeze to throw. This is caught by Ginn.
His 13th NFL season now, Ted Ginn, still a reliable target for Drew Brees. 787 yards in 2017, just 5 games last year due to injuries, but he still has the wheels.
And that'll hurt the average a bit as this time they're able to get him behind the line. On 2nd and 12, Breeze buying time to his left. Oh, he'll try and throw it deep to the other side of the field. That's going to be knocked away and incomplete. Adrian Amos, the safety, able to make the play. An incomplete pass on that last play, and that means they'll need to come up with something here on 3rd down. That's to his running back. It's Alvin Kamara. And he'll be brought down at the 34, well short of the 1st down marker. It'll be a pickup of just 2, and that'll bring up 4th down. The Saints on 4th down last year, 13 of 16, 2nd best in the league, and they'll try it here. And Ginn's got it. And he'll take it into the end zone for the Saints touchdown. Ted Ginn. 34 yards. And the Saints able to stretch that lead out further.
As a fan, is there anything prettier than a well-executed post route?
No, it's a thing of beauty, especially when it's done like that for a touchdown.
The throw, the catch, and how about the run after to get it to the end zone?
After the touchdown, Lutz to kick it off. Fielded about a yard deep. And he'll take this one near the 25, call it the 26-yard line.
Let's go.
The Packer offense ready to get their next drive underway. They've shown very little offensively to this point. Well, neither team has, really. They come up here now 1st down. They'll start the drive with a carry by Jones. And he is going to be stopped cold behind the line of scrimmage. It'll wind up being a loss of 2. And that'll make it 2nd and 12. So the opening play of the drive goes backwards. Now they'll come up on 2nd and 12. Here's Rodgers to throw. And that's complete to Adams. And he'll get this one way up just shy of the 45-yard line. That one a gain of 20 and a first down. The third year back from BYU, Jamal Williams with a carry. Tackle is made by Cameron Jordan.
They tried a quick hitter inside, but that one was swallowed up because what they're hoping, those big defensive linemen will take the bait and move laterally and open up a crease that they can run through. Didn't happen on that play.
Now, meanwhile, here's a second down throw that's knocked away and incomplete. Good coverage that time by Patrick Robinson. They head to the line facing a 3rd and 7 following the incompletion on second down. Now Rodgers gets this to his running back, Aaron Jones. Give him 2 yards on that play, and that's going to bring up a 4th down.
So much about this game is just understanding situations and then having to execute, isn't it? Guard the first down sticks. Don't let them get there, and they rallied and made the tackle.
Sherrill's on the return. Shrugs off another. Through and opens. That'll go down as a 92-yard punt return score. And the Saints able to stretch that lead out further.
Let's just call that play what it was. Bold, dashing, daring, and a big-time return for a touchdown.
Fielding a punt inside the 10. Most coaches, they frown upon that, don't they?
They really do. I do know some special teams coaches who say, okay, I'll let you go to about the 8, and you're right in that gray area, and he made that play work in a massive way.
This is fielded a couple yards deep. And he'll make it across the 20 as his guys will set up shop at the 23-yard line. The Packer offense ready to get their next drive underway. Already down 2 touchdowns here in the first half. This becomes a pretty important drive, doesn't it?
It certainly does, and a lot of teams script plays. We know that, right? They have a script to start the ball game, and typically those scripts go between 12 and 24, 25 plays. Down 2 touchdowns early, probably not very deep into their script. I think that they'll stay with it. I don't think they'll abandon it just yet and try and generate some offense on this drive.
Anything. At least 3 points get that 0 off the board. A second down play results in a loss of 2 yards. Up front, the struggles continue for this offense among the line. What can they do? Change the play calling? What?
I think part of that, yes, changing some of the play calls, some screens, some draws, some misdirection. You want to run any type of a play that will influence these guys to continue to get upfield and find a way to use that against them and slip things in behind them. So some quick passes could work as well.
Here's J.K. Scott now as he's on to punt for Green Bay. 44 on his first punt, and this is a good kick as well. Sherrill's to return it. The Saints with a football here to begin quarter number 2 as they've got it with a 1st and 10. The Saints with a football here to begin quarter number 2 as they've got it with a 1st and 10. Now Kamara. And some room to work. And he'll go down, but not before getting this inside the 30. That burst good for 20 and a first down.
Now, this is an example of breaking down a defense because on a lot of these runs, he's getting past the point of attack, and guess what he's doing? Forcing the secondary guys to have to make a lot of tackles.
Now, a throw to the end zone on first down, but it winds up incomplete. The Pro Bowler Michael Thomas was the intended receiver. That'll bring up second down. Breeze on the draw, gives to Kamara.
You're down 2 touchdowns. You just know defensively you absolutely have to come up with a big play. That nearly was one right there.
Looked over at the sideline immediately after the drop and just saw the dejection. They felt it. They thought he had it. Unfortunately, couldn't come up with it. So after the run by Kamara, now another 1st and 10. And he is into the end zone. Touchdown, New Orleans. From 17 yards out. And the Saints able to stretch that lead out further. And now they'll empty the backfield here as they elect to go for 2. Working from the gun, it's Breeze. And this one's incomplete. Should have been picked. Probably doesn't matter on a 2-point conversion, but still As a former DB, you want to grab that ball when you can, don't you?
You certainly do, and don't say it, because I know you're thinking it. Don't say it.
What am I thinking?
You know what I know what you're thinking. Well, if he'd had hands, he'd be playing on offense, right?
That's true. You've said that before. The Packer offense ready to get their next drive underway. And we don't want to call this desperation time, especially in the second quarter, but you're down.
You don't want to.
We know, but let me finish. And the Saints pressure gets him. Brought down for a sack. Sheldon Rankins abruptly ends that play with a sack.
Brandon, if I'm an offensive coordinator and I see an all-out rush like that, I file it away because I'm going to use their aggressiveness against them as this game goes on. I'm going to hit them with a screen soon.
And the running lane's non-existent in this first half as they'll stop him behind the line. It'll be a loss of a yard, and they're going to be staring at a 3rd and long here. Need something from deep in the bag of tricks here after 1st and 2nd down went backwards. It's 3rd and very long. Complete to Jones. They'll give him a yard on the play, and it'll be 4th down.
Well, that's certainly playing down in distance very well by the defense, isn't it? Take whatever you want underneath by all means.
His first punt, 48 yards. This one looks equally as good. Here's Sherrills. Fights through and now a crease. And he's loose again. Touchdown, New Orleans. A 71-yard punt return. And the Saints able to stretch that lead out further.
Well, if you're into cheesy movies, you would title this one A Half to Remember, wouldn't you? His 2nd return touchdown of the game.
What if I'm not into cheesy movies?
Well, go ahead and get into it, man, because I just did it, and you're going to green light that one. How about those returns? Maybe they got to think about not kicking him the ball.
Yeah, they might want to go away from him in the future. Well, we know he has home run hitting ability in the punt return department, and he showcases it there all the way back for 6. So after the punt return touchdown, let's see what their opponents can do with this kickoff. This fielded at the 2. And he'll bring it a few past the 20 to the 23-yard line.
Let's go.
His limited productivity so far, you'd have to think they're going to try to look to him a little bit more, right?
I would guess you would start to see maybe some quick screens, some hitches, anything to get the ball in his hands quickly and let him try and do some damage after the catch. Or maybe just flip some formations and keep him isolated where it's more of a one-on-one route and get the ball to him.
I say just 4 verts, right?
Hey, why not? 4 verts. One of the best routes in football. Hard to cover each guy all the way along the route.
So far, just 1 catch for him. These guys have punted 4 times already, and they're staring at a 5th, barring a conversion here on 3rd down. Throwing is Rodgers, and he finds his tight end, Graham. 2 former All-Pros connecting. Rodgers finding his tight end, Graham. Packer 1st down. So from the 36 now, 1st and 10. Shotgun now for Rodgers. The connection made. It's Graham. And he'll get up to the 43-yard line. Able to get 7 on that 1st down pass play. 2nd and 3. So 5 yards there as one of the big guys up front moved.
And in a 4-3 front, you got the 2 defensive tackles right near the football. I know there's a lot of movement around there, but they're always taught to have one eye on.
Now look out, Rodgers lost the football. And this is picked up by the Saints. 20, 10, and he'll score. Touchdown, New Orleans. This first half has been a nightmare for that offense. Defense just dominating them.
And when you're picking up the ball, picking up their mistakes, and taking it the other way and putting it in the end zone, that's a defense's dream. They're having that type of a game.
Everything that can go wrong has gone wrong for this offensive unit. So a big play there. Not only the fumble return for the touchdown, then they get the 2-point try. And, you know, for the defense, though, They were just over there sitting on the field. They had to rush out to try to defend that.
You know, it's funny. They actually practice situations that they call sudden change when the team turns it over. I'll guarantee you no one practices a fumble return for a touchdown like that, and now someone goes for two. Really good strategy by them putting them in that situation.
The Packer offense ready to get their next drive underway. And this not an easy situation. You're down early, in the elements, you're on the road. How do you get the mojo back?
Well, one thing is to remember that as an offensive player, you have a much better idea of what you're trying to accomplish and where you're trying to go than the defender. So in this case, because you know it, you can make your cuts with a little more decisiveness, maybe a second fake, some double moves, things of that nature, to go ahead and try and put some pressure on the defense.
4 yards on the completion, and it sets up a third down. 2 minutes remaining in this first half of football. We remind you that coming up at halftime, Jonathan Coachman will be alongside. He'll have highlights and analysis from Orlando of this first half of action. Rodgers going to throw. And Adams has it complete. And he's able to get the first before he's taken down at the 36. Now Rodgers. It's caught here by Adams. And he'll be taken down, but not before he gets into enemy territory. To throw, it's Rodgers. And that's going to be incomplete. Too tough to hold on to that one. It's second down. After the incomplete pass, here now is 2nd and 10. Rodgers going to throw again. Drops it to Jones in the flat. The Packers going to use one of their timeouts as they'll stop it with exactly a minute to go before halftime. The Packers on third down. They've converted just 2 for 6 thus far. This will be 3rd and 5. Rodgers again now. And a throw there going to be incomplete.
Sometimes it's just not your day. There's another failure right there on third down.
Here's J.K. Scott now as he's on for the 5th time here today. And how about this, a fake? And this is caught. Now the Packers going to go ahead and use the second of their timeouts as the clock shows 50 seconds to play here in half number 1. The Saints going to call the first of their timeouts as the clock shows 50 seconds to play here in half number 1. On 1st and 10, here's Rodgers. And the coverage terrific there as that's knocked out and incomplete. Jimmy Graham, the intended receiver, but it'll be 2nd down. Once again, they'll come up on the 26-yard line, 2nd and 10. Throwing now is Rodgers. He's got the lane, and there he goes. He's at the 30, 10, and he'll take this into the end zone. Now, hold on here. We do have a flag down, so let's see what this is about. Well, we looked at each other right when he flinched. We knew that that flag was coming.
Yeah, offsides, easy call, mark off the 5, and keep it moving.
2nd and 5 now. Rodgers got an open man. It's Valdez-Scantling. And he'll take it down here just shy of the 15 at the 16-yard line. Now a play fake here on 1st down. He hauls it in. Valdez-Scantling for the Packers touchdown. Marquez Valdez-Scantling as the first half is winding down. They had to go to the monitor, get an X on as Mason Crosby for the point after. And they get a bit of a respite here from what's been an otherwise dreadful first half of football. They had the short field, and they made quick work of it. Just 2 plays to get into the end zone. This is taken at the 3. Solid return, pretty good field position. They'll start at the 32-yard line. The Saints offense on the field, ready to get their drive started. They'll indeed start on the ground to run that clock. They can't corral him. And he'll just push his way forward for a few as the clock will run. And with just 1 second remaining in the first half, they'll call the timeout. And this should be the final play before the quarter ends. They'll keep it on the ground again here. And he'll be taken down, but not before he works it past the 50. So we've reached halftime, an abbreviated halftime show as we get rolling to quarter 3. Forecast calling for more of the same. The rain set to continue as we are underway in the second half. This will be fielded at the 6. Oh, refusing to go down. And he breaks it all the way out to the 38 field, ready to get their drive started. They start the second half with Kamara. Kamara's got the first down and then some. 30, the 20. Touchdown, New Orleans. Alvin Kamara, his second touchdown of the afternoon as his guys continue to put this one out of reach.
Ready, 5-9.
He's been having a great game, and that one right there, his best run so far, and it ends with 6 points.
And not only that, in his mind, what is he thinking? Can I get to 200 yards as well? Because he knows he's closing in on it. He may not know the exact number, but the best runners have a feel of what the yardage is that they're compiling, and he knows that he's getting close to that 200-yard mark now.
This fielded at the 2. And he's up past the 20 to the 22-yard line. The Packer offense ready to get their next drive underway. They're down in this game. A chance for the offense, though, to put something on the board, get some momentum here in half 2.
Try and get things kick-started for them. And you know at the half, they discussed how they were going to get that done. This is where scripting comes into play a lot of the time.
How many plays do you script coming out of the second?
Most of the time in the first half, you're scripting 12 to 16. I think in the second half, you're really scripting more like 8 to 10. Kind of a starter or an opener, whatever terminology they use. Just something to get you off to a quick start.
Throwing on first down, but this one winds up to be incomplete. Charles, before the game, you and I were looking at the still undefeated teams in the league, and Detroit's technically won at 2-0-1, but let's look at the 3-0 teams. The Bills, Patriots, Chiefs, Cowboys, Rams, 49ers, and Packers. I'm guessing if I ask you who would lose first, you might say Buffalo because they play New England this weekend.
I think you're right about that because that's what you look at. What's the schedule tell us? We know the 49ers are safe because they got an open week coming, so they should be okay on that one. But you would say Buffalo, even though they're at home, New England gets them. But as a wild card, putting them on upset alert, Green Bay on Thursday night with a desperate Philadelphia team coming in. You know, you've got to be really careful with that, despite the fact Green Bay's defense has been so impressive in the early going.
Demario Davis, who was the Saints' leading tackler in his first year in New Orleans, in on the stop. From the 45 on second down, Rodgers open here is Allison. That's complete. And this is going to be another first down as the tackle's made at the Saints' 24-yard line.
Well, that's what you're looking for when you want to throw the ball downfield. You want one of those guys who can play out on the perimeter, can play out wide, who can not only get open, but when they're covered, can uncover themselves downfield and create catches.
Now here's a pass on first down that's knocked away and incomplete. Coverage there by Von Bell. From the 24, they'll go again on 2nd and 10. They go back to the ground with Jones. And they're going to get him behind the line yet again as his nightmare afternoon continues. They get 6 here after the incompletion, and it'll leave them with a 3rd and 4. They'll go again to Jones. And he gets the first down yardage before he's brought down just outside the 10 at the 11. Bit of a surprise. They ran it on 3rd and medium. Proved to be the right call. 1st and 10.
Switch up.
Now a first down carry by Jones. And he'll be brought down this time at the 5-yard line. It's a 6-yard gain on the ground, and that'll make it 2nd and 4.
47 Mike.
On 2nd down and 4. Rodgers. And it's caught. And he'll be brought down right on the edge of the goal line at about the 1-yard line. 4 yards on the completion, and it sets up a 3rd down. They'll try and run for it with Jones. He's not going to get there. That won't even be close. It was blown up in the backfield. It's a loss of a full 3 yards, and it brings up 4th down.
That's a really alert defense there because they saw the heavy look come in from the offense, countered it with extra linebackers who brought a little bit of speed and heft, and able to really make a big-time play for their defense.
And the 12-year veteran knocks it right through, and they'll get back 3, but this remains a large deficit. I'm kind of surprised by that they kicked the field goal. I guess you get some points, but this deficit 3rd quarter, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't either. Yeah, I'm with you on that one. When you're down that much, kicking a field goal, does it feel a little bit maybe waving the white flag? You just want to get out of here? Yeah, I think you got to go ahead and try and get some bigger points on the board.
Face mask. Defense.
Well, we looked at each other right away. We knew that flag was coming out.
And I always enjoy the conversation post because officials always tell you, I don't want to throw the flag, but you caused the play. You did it. I had to.
And he's taken down inside the 30. He'll get 15 and a Saints first down. It's been a remarkable day at the office for him running the football. Those yards just continue to pile well past 100.
And how about more than double-digit carries in the second half alone? That's what you want as a runner because you've got to prove to your offensive line that you're going to be as tough as they are. They don't rotate in and out on every play. Running backs often do, so those who can stay out there with their offensive linemen, those are the guys they really value.
Kamara's got the first down and then some. And he'll take it into the end zone for the Saints touchdown. 22 yards as his guys continue to pour it on. He keeps carrying the ball into the end zone, and in this one, he's sort of carrying the team on his back. And he takes off with it. It's a fake. Powers through again, and he gets in. Well, no one was expecting a fake there, but they add 2 more onto their lead. Oh, boy, rubbing a little salt in the wound there, going for 2 up this big.
You know, there's one time when I played, Brandon, and played against a team that was just absolutely pile driving us, and they ended up going for 2 late in the game. And I asked one of the guys, why'd you do that? He said, because we wanted to win by more. That feels like that type of situation.
Wow. Well, could also result in a melee later, though.
Keep playing.
Now Aaron Rodgers and the offense heading back onto the field. How do you break down his game so far? Just the 1 touchdown pass, but sometimes the touchdown pass stat category, that doesn't tell the whole story.
It really doesn't. Not until you balance it with the error side, you know, and in this case, he hasn't thrown any interceptions. So a lot of people would call this almost a pedestrian game, kind of a bus driver game.
Under a heavy rush, and down he goes. A.J. Klein leading the surge there as he drops him for a loss of 6. Rodgers now, after the sack, he'll lead the pack up on 3rd and long. Shotgun now for Rodgers. And the pressure gets to him again. Sheldon Rankins getting him once again his 3rd sack of the afternoon.
It's been a tough one all game long for this offensive line. They're already down big, and now you know they're just going to come after the quarterback in a big way, don't you?
Yeah, they just can't get out of their own way right now. It's created an avalanche, and an avalanche is coming right on top of them.
Let's go. Let's do this.
Drew Brees getting ready to go again on offense. He's been a good game manager. They're winning here in the 3rd quarter, but really the ground game is where it's been at for them, hasn't it? A breakaway from Michael Thomas. And he is into the end zone. Touchdown, New Orleans. Michael Thomas, 63 yards, as his guys continue to put this one out of reach. And he takes off with it. It's a fake. And they get to him quickly here as he stopped right around the 13. They've got this big lead. They said, forget 1. We want 2. Instead, they got 0.
Unbelievable they didn't even attempt it from the 15-yard line. What are they thinking? I do know this. When you fake one in this situation with that type of a lead, especially from the 15-yard line, oh, boy. I tell you what, meeting them again somewhere down the line, they'll remember this. Yeah, they'll think that they were trying to clown them a little bit.
Play to win. Let's go.
Pretty consistent, just the one touchdown pass, but I think he's managed the game well, no?
I would agree with you, and that's what you're...
Now look out, Rodgers lost the football, and this is picked up by the Saints. And he's got his guys set up great now, 1st and goal, and the Pigskin at the 7-yard line.
All these years we've been watching the game, I start to get the sense that whenever it rains out, those guys have to touch the ball and carry it.
And he is into the end zone. Touchdown, New Orleans. Taking it in from 7 yards away. And the Saints take advantage of field position on the turnover to cash in for 6. And he takes off with it. It's a fake. And that rushing touchdown is 4th, puts him just one shy of the NFL record in a single game.
And we all know he would love to get to that record and even beyond it, but he doesn't need to in order to impress in this one, does he? What a performance. What an absolute great game that he's had here in this one.
Free kick out of bounds. Kicking team.
And that drives coaches insane, doesn't it? When they see that happen, it just doesn't feel right, does it? Plus, you're giving up yardage.
So good field position for the Packers as they come up 1st and 10. Now it's Rodgers. Nowhere to go here. He lost the football. And this is picked up by the Saints. And he's into the end zone. A fumble return and a Saint touchdown. So that is now 2 fumble return touchdowns. You talk about something that's going to drive a head coach crazy.
Without a doubt. But for the defensive guys, once you do it once, you create a frenzy. Everybody wants to get involved, and they got it done a second time.
Lutz will look to add the extra point. Oh, and it's a fake. They'll try and throw for it. And he gets in. Well, no one was expecting a fake there, but they add 2 more onto their lead. And is there bad blood here? I mean, go for 2 when you're up that much?
If there wasn't before, there is now. When you do that, you've just announced to everyone, you just don't care about the other side at all. All you care about is what you're doing, and they just want to pile up points.
They did. And he'll take it up past the 25 to the 26-yard line. The Packer offense ready to get their next drive underway. And let's just say they're going to be looking to start over on this drive. A few moments ago, they were in the exact situation, but their first play led to a fumble that was returned for 6.
Yeah, you definitely have to have a short memory to play in the NFL. You got to remember what you did wrong so you don't repeat it, but you can't dwell on it because then you will repeat it, and that's what you don't want to do.
Throwing again on 2nd and 10. Rodgers, 13 yards, 1st down Packers. Now the defense going to use the first of their timeouts. That'll leave them with 2 remaining. We'll be back after this. So from the 39 now, they'll come up on a 1st and 10. Rodgers with a give. It's Aaron Jones. And he'll lose yardage on the play back at the 37-yard line. Now a second timeout called for by the defense. And as the 2 teams talk it over on their respective sidelines, we take a break. Again, it's Jones. And he's going to be stopped here for no gain. And that's going to take us to the end of the 3rd quarter of play. Back now in Pittsburgh. And this is a blowout so far as we get set for the 4th quarter. A very one-sided affair.
Not today, you are. Not today.
Throwing is Rodgers on 3rd down. Oh, had his hands on it, couldn't bring it in. Pretty symptomatic of how this game's been going. Another incompletion. You know, it's a wonder he's still moving around back there the number of times he's been sacked.
Yeah, he's staying out there, isn't he? And you don't think about it much in a game like this, but he's showing incredible leadership. Still competing, still fighting, not taking himself out of a ball game that appears lost.
Great blocking, nearly sprung him there. 28-yard return. And the Saints will take over with a 1st down and 10. The Saints offense on the field ready to get their drive started. They start the drive on the ground. Kamara. He'll get a nice chunk there on the 1st down run, and it's 2nd and 4. And I think we can get used to seeing more of that in this fourth quarter, especially if they're having success on the ground like they did there.
Yeah, I think back when we met with the head coach in preseason, and all he talked about was building a bully. And I think it was this situation he was envisioning. Trying to ice a game, plenty of time left, but being able to give the ball to his big runner and pound away and try and finish off a game. And, Brandon, this is where it pays to have a big back who can take over a football game, especially in the fourth quarter when you've got the lead, your ability to not just wear people down, but close games out.
To throw, it's Breeze. That's caught. It's Thomas. And he gets it all the way down inside the 10 and mark him at the 5. That's back-to-back plays of over 20 yards. Two big plays in succession. Not sure this D knows what hit him, but now they got to get ready. It's 1st and goal. And he'll take it into the end zone for the Saints touchdown. Ted Ginn with his second touchdown of the afternoon as his guys continue to pour it on. Now Breeze will bring the Saints offense up to go for 2 here. Breeze now to throw. And the pressure gets to Breeze as he's taken down.
I know we could sit up here and dance around it a little bit, but going for 2 in this situation, somebody doesn't like someone else. There's no doubt in my mind.
Well, what they couldn't see is you lean back in your chair and you went, yeah, it's not a good decision. They didn't get it, though.
Yeah, I don't think you can just say, well, my kicker's hurt in this spot.
No,
okay.
The Packers offense now, they get ready to head back on the field. These guys had to punt their last possession, and that's become too familiar of a refrain. Too many of these drop. Now look out, Rodgers lost the football. And this is picked up by the Saints. And he's into the end zone. A fumble return and a Saint touchdown. So the big fella gets on the scoreboard with a return for a touchdown. Good thing he didn't have to go too far, though.
You know the trainers were very happy about that. Imagine having to go get him in the end zone, escort him to the bench, and give him the oxygen. They were loving the fact that he got in without having to run very far.
The scoop and score, always an exciting play in football, and we witnessed it there. Grabbing it off the ground and then rumbling it into the end zone for 6. That's fielded in the end zone. And no run back here. This will be a touchback, and it comes out to the 25-yard line. The Packer offense ready to get their next drive underway. And they weren't on the sidelines for long, but I'll tell you what, I'm glad you and I nowhere to go here. He lost the football. And this is picked up by the Saints. And he's into the end zone. A fumble return and a Saint touchdown. And give some kudos to the defensive coordinator, I think, here. They bring the blitz, they dial it up, and it turns into 6 points for them.
It's so nice to hear you actually give kudos to the defense. It is so nice. You're such an offensive guy like that. I love it. He dialed things up, and boy, a big play resulted for his guys.
Well, you like the credit to the defense there, right, my friend?
Yeah, do I ever?
And a short kick, taking it about the 16. And they're going to start this drive in pretty good shape as they get it up past the 30. The Packer offense ready to get their next drive underway. And that last possession, really a gut punch. You seemingly had it working. You were in the midst of a very strong drive. Then suddenly nowhere to go. Here he lost the football. And this is picked up by the Saints. And he will bring this down inside the 10 to the 8-yard line.
And with that kind of a deficit, you can't afford to make any kind of mistakes. But it's been pretty symptomatic of what we've seen all game with them, isn't it? Down this big in the fourth quarter.
You'd say an afternoon to forget, absolutely. Try to pound it in, Kamara. And they get him down at the 1. He had the broken tackle, but ultimately could not get into the end zone. It's a good pickup of 7 yards, and now they're looking at 2nd and goal. And he'll barrel his way into the end zone for a Saint touchdown. Punching it in from a yard away. And the Saints take advantage of field position on the turnover to cash in for 6. So another score there, and often you talk about the 3 phases of the game. Defense, offense, special teams. It's been a clean sweep in this one, hasn't it?
It certainly has. They've been pretty dominant throughout this game. And privately, the head coach will add a 4th phase. That's the coaching. And he'll tell the ownership that as he tries to negotiate a new contract off of this win.
They are looking strong here in the fourth quarter. And he'll wind up about 4 yards shy of where he would have been if he had taken a knee, as they'll start at the 21-yard line. The Packer offense ready to get their next drive underway. And the turnover last time, that's sort of been symptomatic of their struggles here. Now look out, Rodgers lost the football. And this is picked up by the Saints. And he's into the end zone. A fumble return and a Saint touchdown. So the big fella gets on the scoreboard with a return for a touchdown. Good thing he didn't have to go too far, though.
You know the trainers were very happy about that. Imagine having to go get him in the end zone, escort him to the bench, and give him the oxygen.
Now as he'll get it again following that fumble return for a score. That'll be taken in the end zone. And no run back here. This will be a touchback, and it comes out to the 25-yard line. The Packer offense ready to get their next drive underway. And they've sort of lost their way, partner. How do they recalibrate and get this proverbial train back on track?
Well, this is where leadership really comes into play. How's the head coach handling it? The offensive coordinator? Sometimes they just make a joke. All right, guys, you had your fun? All right.
Throw it out the window.
Yeah, let's get back on track here. And sometimes that'll work just fine.
I get nowhere to go here. He lost the football. And this is picked up by the Saints. And he'll score. Touchdown, New Orleans.
Yeah, way to go. That's what I'm talking about, boy. That's what I'm talking
And
about.
Charles, look at the big fella. What a rumble that was. Not only to scoop it, but then take it the rest of the way for the touchdown.
And now you know they're going to have to hear about it from now on. The defensive backs, he's going to want to run with them, do their drills, the whole deal. He thinks he's the pace setter now.
It doesn't matter what happens in practice this week, he's smiling. And you can bet they're preaching two hands on the ball here as the kick's away following that fumble return. This fielded a few yards into the end zone. And no run back here. This will be a touchback, and it comes out to the 25-yard line. The Packer offense ready to get their next drive underway. They are looking to make a bit of a 180. They are sputtering right now.
And frankly, I think it's time to call your playmakers together and say, all right, guys, we're going to lean on you through this patch. We need you to get us back on track and get us going in the right direction. So you're calling plays geared to them. Not necessarily what you look at your plays.
Now look out, Rodgers lost the football. But fortunately, he's able to recover. Nowhere to go here. He lost the football. And this is picked up by the Saints. And they will take over at the 26-yard line. And I don't know that that fumble is going to matter a whole lot. You look at the deficit here in the fourth, it doesn't matter. The coach on the sideline is still scratching his head.
Yeah, not only scratching his head, but probably writing a note or two about, we're going to address this come practice next week because maybe that's the reason we're down this far. Doesn't matter at this point, but being sloppy throughout the game, not going to help him improve.
It'll be a Saints first down on a pickup of 13. On 1st and 10, here's Breeze. Looking for Thomas. He's got him. Touchdown, New Orleans. 4 touchdown passes now for Drew Brees. And the Saints take advantage of field position on the turnover to cash in for 6. Footing always a concern, but the extra point's up and good. And that will extend this big lead. Well, that drive started with not a whole lot of real estate in front of them. In plus territory, excellent field position. 2 plays later, pay dirt. After the touchdown, Lutz to kick it off. That's fielded in the end zone. And no run back here. This will be a touchback, and it comes out to the 25-yard line. The Packer offense ready to get their next drive underway. And they had the fumble last time that led to a touchdown. That's a no-no. We'll see what they do here this go-around.
A big no-no. Put that in capital letters. Turning it over, the other team takes it down and scores. That can be a deflator for a football team. Now it's up to the offense to get back out on the field and pick things up.
Now, they're out there. We'll see if they can pick those things back up. Nowhere to go here. He lost the football. And this is picked up by the Saints. And they're already in the red zone. The 18-yard line is where they take over. Now after the fumble recovery, it's Breeze. And able to break one tackle, but then quickly brought down. But a nice little gain. 10 yards on the pickup there, and it'll be second down. So second in inches after that first down. And they are going to score again. Yet another touchdown as they just add to their totals. And, my friend, I think it's safe to say that this game is pretty much deceased at this point. It's taken a knee, so to speak.
It is definitely this victory formation. Take the snap, take the knee, call it a night, call it a game, call it whatever. I agree with you totally. I don't think there's much left to get except for those who want to run up the score.
I knew this was over about a minute ago when you took your stat sheet and just flipped it over your shoulder in the trash can.
Yeah, that's similar to the guys cutting tape off right before the game's over. We know this thing's done.
And Green Bay getting ready to go as they take the field. And last time, not only the turnover, but that turned into 6 points. They got to make up for that here.
We always hear about empty possessions, but some are worse than others. You can have an empty possession, punt the ball away, get yourself set to play defense, but when you turn it over, it changes momentum, and when they take it downfield and punch it in on you, that's a bad possession all the way around.
Yeah, but you're hungry to get back out there, aren't you?
You better be, because otherwise, it's going to be a long day for you.
Another throw on second down, and this one incomplete as well. Rodgers now to throw. Gets this to his running back, Aaron Jones. And we are inside of 2 minutes left in this lopsided affair. So it's Packer football here as we welcome you back. They come up on a 4th down situation with things not looking particularly rosy. Returnable for Sherrills. And there he goes again. And he will get into the end zone. It's another touchdown. This thing is ugly.
All right, count him along with me. That's his 3rd return for a touchdown in this game. Why is the ball being kicked to him? That would be my question.
I was just going to ask you the same question because we see 2 occasionally. I mean, very rare. 3? Unbelievable. Well, it's no secret. That's why they have him return punts. He has the capability to take them back, and he did so there. This is fielded a couple yards deep. And he'll get across the 20 before he's brought down at about the 23-yard line. The Packer offense now ready to get back onto the field. They've lost this one. Their offense has struggled. Do they try to put together something here at the end just to take into next week?
Yeah, sometimes teams want to do.
Now look out, Rodgers lost the football.
They can't stop us, baby. Every time.
On plays like this where the ball comes free, it's often unusual for the team that lost it to get it back. Because this is the quarterback. The ball gets away from him. Everyone else is trying to execute what they're supposed to do on offense. They're usually looking in the other direction, downfield, or have moved away from it. In this case, though, a teammate is able to come up with the ball.
Now a 3rd down throw, but it misses the target, incomplete. Another wayward pass. Things started out poorly in this game, and to be frank, they just really haven't gotten much better.
And all that does is embolden a secondary. They feel good about what's going on, and they just play better and better.
Returnable here from the 38. Well, he wasn't too far from breaking that. Officially, give him 15. And the Saints will have a short field in front of them. They take over here, 1st and 10. Here comes Michael Thomas and the rest of the Saints offense. And I know that they've double-teamed him a couple times. Down the numbers. There he goes. And they are going to score again. Yet another touchdown as they just add to their totals.
And to me, that touchdown allows you to start grinning widely on your sideline. I think they pretty much locked this one away.
Yeah, that's the clincher, the proverbial icing on the cake, if you will. Lutz with the extra point, and the lead will swell by 1 more. And we can break that scoring drive down pretty easily. 1 play, long touchdown pass into the end zone. That'll be taken in the end zone. And no run back here. This will be a touchback, and it comes out to the 25-yard line. The Green Bay offense now about ready to take possession here. They are just obviously getting shellacked here in this one, Charles. What's the message if you're a coach for this final drive in a lopsided game like this?
For a lot of coaches,
be honest.
don't forget today. don't forget what has happened out here.
Yeah, use that as ammo going forward.
Exactly. Take a great look at that scoreboard. Realize how poorly everything went for us today. Coaching, playing, the whole deal. And never forget it, because
you're not going to want that feeling again.
No, you don't want that feeling again. And who knows? You may meet up with this team again.
They try to throw on second down, but this one is incomplete. Now they face a 3rd and 10 after back-to-back incompletions. Now Rodgers. And that's incomplete. Well, it just seems like all game long there hasn't been a lot of sync quarterback to wide receiver on this side of the football.
They haven't been on the same page, quarterback and receivers. Heck, they haven't been on the same grease board when you draw plays up. They haven't been on the same surface tablet that you look at on the sidelines. Nothing's worked for them. They've got to find a way to start matching each other's movements.
The Saints offense on the field, ready to get their drive started. Brees going to throw here. Flush to his right. And an alley to run. And they bring him to the ground just shy of midfield. Now we'll get whistles, and they've signaled for a timeout. Not sure I see the logic in this, but we'll get a stoppage anyway with 5 seconds remaining. And he is tackled inside the 40, not quite to the 35. Well, Charles, it's one thing to win. It's another thing to win and put up the amount of points that they did. Boy, were they clicking on offense.
They can't help but feel great about themselves, can they? I mean, what a game to put up that number of points, continually feeling like they're moving the ball and things are working and clicking. They think that they can bottle this and carry it with them.
And as an offensive coordinator, you just don't think you can do anything wrong. Whatever you call, run, pass, it's all going to work.
That's called being in the zone.